James, Auburn in last place in the SEC, and a lot of that has to do with their red zone woes. 2 games in which this season against both Mississippi schools that if they get it done in the red zone, maybe they've got 2 wins instead of 2 losses there. The latest, Ole Miss, they get inside the red zone 3 times, settle for 3 field goals. They got to the 3-yard line twice, James, and couldn't convert. And most of it really in the fans' eyes and in our eyes as we ask questions is they did some uncharacteristic things with their play calling.
Yeah, and it happens. I think it's absolutely usually a kind of overanalyzed thing, play calling as a whole, but there were some really troubling things with this, and uncharacteristic, absolutely. This was a team that was running the ball ad nauseum inside the red zone previously and having some success. And we asked about that even last week, and Sean White not throwing a touchdown pass, and a big part of that was in the red zone. Once he got down there with explosive plays, they handed the ball off to running backs, and they scored. And that was the way things were working. Here, Javon Robinson did a lot of damage between the 20s, did really well. Carried multiple defenders on his back at times. Yeah. And then once he carries inside the red zone, loses a couple of yards, and then was done.
They abandoned it.
And left him alone, and then proceeded to throw the football over and over and over again, and didn't complete a pass on any of those attempts. So that was the troubling thing, was you going, now wait a minute, Javon got you there. All right, one stop. And then it became a passing fest, and it was incompletions over and over and over again. And frankly, a passing fest where there weren't even all that many passes in the end zone. A couple of them were in that direction. Some were screen passes to the side and the flats.
And with that said, one pass was a touchdown, if not for a big hold by Gray King, who practically tackled the defender in doing so. Just some uncharacteristic play calling. The execution just was not there, obviously, and Auburn was a loser as a result. Plus, if we want to talk play calling real quick, a 4th and 2 at midfield, going for it, being aggressive, not getting it. Ole Miss takes right over, marches down the field, and scores a touchdown. As much as that Laquan Treadwell touchdown catch was at the end to seal it, I think that play was the defining play, the turning point of the game completely.
Yeah, they never led after that. As soon as Ole Miss took over, they went down the field and never gave up at that point. Yeah, they were tied again, but Ole Miss took over momentum and never let go. And clearly, look, it didn't make sense from even Gus Malzahn's own words going back to the Kentucky game and saying, all right, the game is on the line late against Kentucky. You're clinging to a 3-point lead. Game's on the line, where the defense had already shown an inability to slow down Kentucky very much. And they don't go for it. They punt, create a long field, because statistically, playing by the numbers, playing the percentages, long field, tough spot, no timeouts. Okay. Clinging to a 7-point lead first half, midway through the second quarter, where Ole Miss is getting the ball first coming out of halftime, rather than punting and making that offense go a further distance, go for it early because, well, the plan was to be aggressive, was what Gus Malzahn and Rhett Lashley said. Yet subsequently, after the plan being aggressive, it seemed like they hedged, because they didn't go for 4th down again until the very end when they absolutely had to, and including those trips to the red zone we were just talking about. They were settling for field goals. Some made sense, frankly. At 20-16, I'm not sure that does make that much sense. I understand what Rhett Lashley was saying, that, okay, you go for the 3 there, you make it 1, they score a touchdown, et cetera, et cetera. I get it. I may even do the same thing. However, if the plan was to be aggressive, there's a disconnect in the logic there for me, and especially on the 4th and 1 play, I just didn't get it.